actively lead the Communist Party actively lead various peasant movements. Last time you said that various peasant movements, Telangana Armed Struggle Movement, Worli Movement, Tabaga Movement, Punarha Wailer Movement. These movements already we discussed in last chapters. Next one is United Left, approach towards Congress. M.N. Rai. He was the founder of the Communist Party in India. M.N. Rai, S.A. Denji, and Muzaffar were played an important role in peasants' movements. These three people were played an important role in peasant movements. Due to these leaders were arrested and put jail by British when they started revolt against the British, and they supported the farmers and workers. Those people were arrested by British and immediately they put in jail. When important leaders put in jail, from the time onwards, they joined with Gandhi and participated national movement for freedom. When communist leaders arrested and put in jail, from that time onwards, remaining communist leaders joined with Gandhi, and they participated national movement to get freedom. Under the leadership of Gandhi, workers and peasants were played a main role in national movement. Gandhi also gave support to workers and peasants to participate in national movement. Those workers and under the leadership of Gandhi, those workers and peasants were played important role in national movement. Due to this, the Communist Party weakened and lost their name among workers and peasants. When communist leaders were arrested by British, from that time onwards, that remaining all the communist leaders joined with Gandhi in Congress. From that time onwards, that Communist Party weakened and lost their name among workers and peasants. Theory of multinationalism. Next point is the theory of multinationalism. The Communist Party of India passed a resolution in 1942. What kind of resolutions they passed? Which was for supported demand for the Pakistan. The Communist Party gave support to separate the Pakistan. That's why in 1942 they passed a resolution to participation of the Pakistan. Due to this, there were happened various differences between there were disputes between Congress and the Communist Party, but Congress did not support to this separation of Pakistan, and this Communists supported to separate of the Pakistan. Due to this, there were happened disputes between Congress and the Communist Party. Communist Party, especially Communist Party, supported in establishing autonomous states of various nationalists, namely Sikhs and Muslims, Sindhus and Hindustanis, Rajasthanis, Andhras, Assamese, Tamils and Keralas. This further widened the gap between Congress and Communist Party, especially that Communist Party supported to separation of the Pakistan. That's why the Congress Party did not support the Pakistan. This is the major important point in this part. Major important points in this chapter. Congress, next one, Congress Socialist Party. Congress Socialist Party. The Congress Socialist Party was formed in 1934, which was presided by Acharya Narendra Dev, Jai Prakash Narayan, Achyutat Patwardhan, Yusuf Meherli, Ashok Mehta, and Minu Musani. These people were played an important role in Congress Socialist Party. Tentative Socialist Party was also formed by Sampurnananda. And Socialist Party, when it was formed, the Congress Socialist Party, the Congress Socialist Party was formed in 1934. And here, three people were played, five people were played an important role in Congress Socialist Party. Again, here tentative Socialist Party also formed by Sampurnananda. He belonged to Uttar Pradesh. He was a Congress leader of Uttar Pradesh. The Congress Socialist Party demanded complete independence. The Congress Socialist Party, what is their demand? What is the Congress Socialist Party demand? The
Complete
Congress Socialist Party
independence.
demand. Hello.
Yes, sir. Complete independence.
Yes. Complete independence. And socialist state. Socialist state. It
Yes,
had various objectives. Those are especially 6 objectives here mentioned. Four objectives here mentioned. Transfer of all power to the masses. Masses should have power. So that power transfer to masses. And socialization of big industries. And socialization of big industries, second one. Third one, elimination of princes, landlords. These princes and landlords were played an important role. And these people collected more money from peasants and workers. That's why here they said here, elimination of princes, removed that princes and landlords. Fourth one, redistribution of land to the peasants. That land distributed to the peasants. This is another point. Next one is growth of socialist ideas in Congress. In 1930s, there were developed socialist ideas within and outside Congress. That time Congress had socialist ideas. That time Congress had socialist ideas. In 1930s, there were developed socialist ideas within and outside Congress. Great Depression destroyed the entire world, which was occurred in 1929. There was one great depression was occurred. Due to that, people were destroyed more. At that time, they don't have food to eat. That is Great Depression, which was occurred in 1929. Due to this, there were prevailed economic distress, large-scale unemployment in everywhere. Due to this, at that time they didn't get, they lost their employment. They don't have any work to do. That's why this is played an important role towards the fight against the British. Due to this, there were prevailed economic distress, large-scale unemployment in everywhere. Due to this, and also due to this, production and foreign trade was declined. But in the socialist countries like USSR, production was increased. When capitalist countries collapsed, many educated Indians were attracted towards the socialist ideas. At that time, that many educators, many who came from India, many educators had got socialist ideas. They attracted socialist ideas. That's the time. Next one, Jawaharlal Nehru's socialist ideas. And Jawaharlal Nehru was elected as the Congress president in 1936 and again in 1937. He was played an important role in Congress party. 2 times he elected as president of Congress. One is in 1936 and another one is 1937. And Subhash Chandra Bose also elected as Congress president in 2 times. In one is in 1938 and another one is 1939. Nehru, from the beginning onward, had radical ideas. Nehru, from the beginning, when he entered into politics, from that time onwards, he had radical ideas, left-wing ideas, communist ideas. His prison life brought many differences between Gandhi and him. He once upon a time that Britishers put in prison. Nehru was put in prison by Britishers. At the time, his prison life brought many differences. There are a lot of difference between Gandhi and Nehru. When he was in prison, he wrote letters to his daughter, which was published as glimpses of world history. Glimpses of world history, and his autobiography recognized it is social ideas. And next one is Nehru made clear his differences with Gandhi in letters and articles which were published in Tittar India. You know, he wrote a number of letters and articles again in those articles and letters he wrote his ideas, and those letters sent to Gandhi and Indira Gandhi. Many British officials considered Nehru as the high priest of communism. Many British officials thought that Nehru had more communist ideas, and the emergence of independent socialist party. Next point. And the Second World War took more changes between British and socialist leaders. Once upon a India in the world, you did 2 wars. One is First World War, and second one is Second World War. When was happened that Second World War, Tilottama?
In 1939 and 45, sir.
Yes. First World War?
First World War during 1912 or 14, sir.
1914 to 1919. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. When that Second World War happened, from that time onwards, more changes were occurred between British and socialist ideas, socialist leaders. Nehru was a sympathetic person. He was a kind person. At that time, Nehru was sympathetic to Congress Socialist Party, but he never joined in Socialist Party. But he had Socialist Party ideology, but he didn't join in Congress Party. In Communist Party, Socialist Party. He came from Congress Party. He was a Congress leader, but he liked very much communist socialist ideas, but he didn't join in Socialist Party. The right-wing Congress leaders criticized Congress Socialist Party. The Congress Socialist Party became popular in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Once upon a time, especially in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, that Congress Socialist Party was played an important role in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Congress Socialist Party had maintained close relations who had emerged Kisan Sabha movement in Bihar and Andhra. that Kisans that may the Socialist Congress Socialist Party was played good relations with the Kisans farmers. At the time that Kisans Sabha also were there, and Indian peasant institutions, Indian peasant institution was established by N.G. Ranga at Nidudavalu in Andhra Pradesh. Once upon a time, that India at that time only that Indian peasant institution was established, was started. Who was started? That N.G. Ranga was started. Where it was established? Where it was Nidudavalu.
Yes, sir.
And the section of the Congress leadership encouraged by Kisan movement in Bihar. And most of the number of the Congress leaders were encouraged Kisan movement in Bihar. During the early years of the Indian independence, the members of Congress Socialist Party left Congress and either joined the Communist Party or founded different socialist parties in India. During the early years of the Indian independence, the members of the Congress Socialist Party, whoever came from Congress Socialist Party, all the Congress Socialist Party left the Congress, and they came out from Congress, and some of the Socialist Party leaders joined in Communist Party, and some of the Socialist Party leaders founded different socialist parties in India. Some of the established some different parties. Next one, Forward Bloc. Forward Bloc were founded by Subhash Chandra Bose and his followers in 1939. This is also a very, very important point. That Forward Bloc, who established that Forward Bloc, that Subhash Chandra Bose was established Forward Bloc in 1939. And socialists have said that the Indian National Congress should become a bourgeois party. The socialists have said, they said that Indian National Congress, not Socialist Party, only Indian Congress became a bourgeois party. Bourgeois party means landlords party and rich people party. They felt that it was leave Indian National Congress and start real socialist party. Finally, separation of socialists took place in 1948 after the death of Gandhi. Okay, next one, the Forward Bloc. Already you discussed about the Forward Bloc. That the Forward Bloc was established by Subhash Chandra Bose, and he was established that in which date? In 1939. He was established in 1939 under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose. After his resignation, once upon a time, he was played an important role as president of Congress. When he was resigned that Congress presidentship, and immediately he established that Forward Bloc and started a movement against the British for freedom struggle, for freedom from British. Subhash Chandra Bose, after his resignation as the president of Congress Party, he founded the Forward Bloc. Under the leadership of the Bose, the Forward Bloc believed complete independence with the idea of modern socialist state, social justice and equal rights for all. What kind of things he mentioned here? Every person should need equal rights for all, justice for all. This kind of freedom that Subhash Chandra Bose wanted, asked. This kind of freedom he wanted, that Subhash Chandra Bose wanted. And this nationalist society, in terms of foreign policy, they supported Axis powers in the Second World War. The Forward Bloc thought to get freedom from British, with the help of Axis powers countries like Germany and Japan. At the time that the forward bloc, what kind of support they asked? They support um, Axis powers countries. They asked Axis powers countries like Germany and Japan countries supported this one forward bloc. The forward bloc thought to get freedom from British with the help of Axis powers countries like Germany and Japan. Only you should get freedom from British with the help of Axis powers countries like Germany and Japan. At the time that Subhash Chandra Bose thought, Bose was arrested on July 1940, but he escaped in 1941 and traveled Soviet Union, Afghanistan for their support for Indian freedom struggle. And he was radical ideas that Britishers did not like this person, Subhash Chandra Bose. He was started revolt against the British. That's why that British Subhash Chandra Bose was arrested by British on July 1940, but he escaped from that prison in 1941 and traveled. From that time onwards, he traveled throughout the out of countries, not India. He traveled to Soviet Union, Afghanistan. Why he traveled to those countries? He traveled for their support. You should get support from outside countries for Indian freedom. For Indian freedom. After the Second World War, R.C. Riker reorganized forward bloc and convened a workers' assembly at Jabalpur, a workers' assembly. After the Second World War, R.C. Riker reorganized the forward bloc. This person only, R.C. Riker only reorganized the forward bloc and convened a workers' assembly. He conducted a workers' assembly at Jabalpur. In this meeting from Jabalpur, he declared forward bloc as a socialist party on the lines of the class struggle. What he said when he said, after the Second World War, R.C. Riker was played an important role in forward bloc. He conducted a workers' assembly meeting. He was conducted one meeting at Jabalpur. In that meeting, he declared what he declared. He declared forward bloc as a socialist party. This is a socialist party on the lines of class struggle. In 1955, the Indian National Congress resolved to a new policy by adopting socialism as one of the major Congress. Given these developments, the leaders of forward bloc, Mr. Yagu and Singh, proposed the merged Congress. After that, these forward bloc merged with the Congress. And this is the 10th unit. And only in the next 11th unit, you will also discuss today that 11th unit also. That 11th unit, what is that title name? Today topic is that working class movements and role of trade unions. Working class movements, working class. Do you have any idea about that working class and trade unions?
Working class means maybe laborers working in different sectors, sir. Role of trade unions ante
workers means peasants.
sir.
Industry workers, peasant workers. So last time you discussed about that Neil Mandu.
Yes, sir.
So that's at the time most of the
Indigo.
peasants were Indigo Revolt. Indigo Revolt.
Yes, sir.
That you discuss about the working class movements and role of
Role
trade
of trade
unions.
unions.
At the time that working class people also formed various trade unions for their rights. Those kinds of information you will discuss here. The working class movements were played an important role in national movement like peasants. This working class movements also were played an important role in national movement. Workers faced so many problems by British harsh rules in industrial sector. Already you discussed about that so many oppressive policies were introduced by Britishers on Indian peasants. For that, due to that, various revolts were occurred. Here, that working class people also revolted in this chapter. Workers faced so many problems by British harsh rules in industrial sector. So workers started revolt against the British oppressive forces, especially in industrial sector. And British invested plenty of money, more money in the industrial sector in India. They recruited large numbers of labor for lesser wages, and Britishers got more profits by workers. When they came to when Britishers came to India, and after that they got power from local native people and from India. From that time onwards, they introduced various oppressive policies, and they need more laborers to work in their, for example, indigo revolt, indigo for indigo craft, that industrial. They established more industries in India. At the time that the industrial revolution also was occurred in British. At that time they need more raw material for that industries. Due to that, they recruited large number of laborers. They need large number of laborers, and but they gave only small amount, very little amount salaries to them, but they got more profit by workers, and also they employed children, and they recruited children also, and women also, but and paid less to them. They paid less amount to them. There were no laws to protect them, but they did work from morning and evening, but they didn't get any. They were get less money, and also they don't have any laws to protect them. The non-cooperation and civil disobedience movements had politicized the workers more at the time that impacted the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement also were occurred in that time. That these movements were impact on workers. After 1929, workers were faced many problems due to economic depression and British policies, especially industrial policies, and also employers try to reduce workers' salaries in industries and plantations. Due to this, workers formed trade unions and started revolt against oppressed policies. Understand, Tilotama? Do you understand this concept?
Yes, sir.
When Britishers after the establishment of the industries in India, they need more labor. That's why they recruited number of labor, but they didn't give sufficient amount to them. They gave small money, very little, less money. That's why those are who lost, who, who, who faced that kind of problems, those people formed various trade unions. And after that, they started against the British with the help of trade unions. Okay? Due to
Yes,
due
sir.
to due to British suppressed policies, there was a formed number of trade unions, and the Communist Party, which was formed in 1926, which was organized workers. And first of all, this Communist Party, when it was formed, that Communist Party was formed in 1926 to fight against British for workers' benefits. Finally, workers and peasants, workers, peasants, and trade unions were played a important role in national movement. Due to these causes, because of these causes, workers and peasants also involved in peasants, workers, traders, trade unions, all the involved in national movement. At that time, national movement is going against the British oppressive policies. Next one, phases of trade union movements in India. That various phases are here. The growth and development of labor movement and trade unions divided into 6 phases. Those are social welfare period. First one is social welfare period, which was started in 1875 up to 1918. And next one is early trade union period. Early trade union period, which was started in 1918 and ended 1924. And the third one is left-wing trade union period. This was from 1924 to 1934. Trade unions unity period. Trade unions unity period, which was started in 1935 and ended in 1938. And next one is Second World War period. Already you said already that Tilotama said that Second World War period 1939 to 1945. And post-independence period. What is the what is the meaning of post-independence period?
After the declaration of independence to India.
Okay, good. Very good, very good. Exactly. What is that period? 1945 to
45 to 47.
47. Okay. Next, you will discuss about the social welfare period, 1975 to 1918. The early factory system in India was worse than the early factories in England with respect to the conditions of labor. At the time, that workers' conditions were not good, very bad in 1875 to 1915. During this period, people migrate to the industrial areas from villages for their better life. When that Britishers established various factories in India, from that time onwards, whoever lived in villages, they migrate to industrial areas for better life, and they came to cities and settled here and joined in various industries. When they came to industrial areas, after that they got labor jobs and got less money for their work. And from that time onwards, they suffered a lot. They don't have any facilities from British. They didn't get more money, sufficient money from British. These kinds of problems they faced. During that time, they did not think on strike about their problems against British policies. At that time, more strikes were happened, but starting initial stage, they don't have knowledge on strikes about their problems against the British policies. During this period, some of the factory workers, namely Saurabhji, Shapurji, who came from Bengal, and Sri N.M. Lokande demanded legislature for working class. At that time, during this period, some of the people, like-minded people, they played an important role among working class movements. They gave support to working class movements. They gave support to working class movements. These people played an important role to educate that workers. Those are the Saurabhji, Sapurji, both came from Bengal, and Sri N.M. Lokande, both are demanded legislature for working class. They demanded that legislation for working class. During this period, Indian Factories Act was passed in 1881. When these people planning to fight against the British, against the oppressed classes, but at the time, that Indian Factories Act was passed in 1881 and amended in 1891 and 1911 respectively. And first it was passed in 1881, that Indian Factories Act, and that amended in 1891 and 1911 respectively. Bombay Millhands Association was formed by N.M. Lokande in 1819. Under this, he demanded weekly holiday for workers and to solve the grievances of mall workers. At the time, they don't know holidays. Weekly, they didn't have weekly holidays. For that weekly holidays, that Lokande played an important role for that weekly holidays. That under the leadership of the Lokande, workers started revolt against their weekly holidays, and to solve the grievances of mall workers. This was the first union in India established for the protection of working class. What is the first union of India? This is what is the Bombay Millhands Association. Bombay Millhands Association was the first union in India, which was established that Lokande. When it was established, 1890s. Why it was established? This was established for the protection of working class. Okay, Lokande also published a working class newspaper called Dinabandhu. This is also important. Dinabandhu. Last time in last class you discussed about in Indigo Rivers. What is that? Some important point discussed about the Dinabandhu. Tilottama, do you have any idea about that one?
Sir, in that newspaper regarding the grievances of indigo farmers were published, sir.
Okay. Dinabandhu.
Yes, sir.
That Dinabandhu wrote that. Who wrote that one? Dinabandhu.
Dinabandhu name I.
Dinabandhu.
Yes, sir.
Did you forget?
Yes, sir. మీరు చెప్పండి, sir.
Tilottama, in last chapter that Indigo Revolt, you discuss about that Dinabandhu.
Yes, Dinabandhu Mitra's Neil Darpan, sir.
Yes. That's I am asking.
Yes, sir.
That's here that Dinabandhu. This newspaper was called Dinabandhu. Who published this one? Lokende. Lokende published this one. That's called Dinabandhu. Inspired these developments, there were formed several unions, namely Amalaga Mated Society Railway and Servants of India and Burma, the Printers Union of Calcutta, which was started in 1905, the Bombay Postal Union, and Calcutta and Madras Unions in 1905, Kamgar Hitwardhan Sabha in 1909, and Social Service League in 1910. During this period, these organizations were organized, fighting for the social service and welfare of the workers. Here you discussed already that one association established that who is that Lokende. Lokende was established Bombay Millionaires Association. This was the first union in India established for the protection of working class. Apart from this, various organizations, unions also established for the protection of the workers. Okay, this is the point. This point also over, and next to these workers unions, early phase of trade unions, and already we discussed about that only one more. That social movement also, social welfare field also you discussed, and next one is early phase of trade unions. What kind of trade unions were established for workers against the British from 1918 to 1924? This kind of information you will discuss about here. This phase was an important phase. During this period, the leadership of trade unions was passed to politicians from the hands of workers. That before this period, only workers only played an important role in this movement. During this period, and that changed. That trade unions was passed to politicians. That changed. That these unions are got politicians also got this workers unions. During this period, Swaraj movement was played an important role, which was demanded reasonable wages for workers. There were various trade unions. Various trade unions were fighting against the British for workers, especially for wages of reasonable. They demanded reasonable wages for workers. The Asean Revolution, which was occurred in 1917, was also played an important role, which was created the new idea of self-respect and brought class consciousness among laborers. This was the Russian Revolution was brought more changes. This was impacted on Indians from from that time onwards. These working class people try to working class people started revolt against the British suppressive policies, especially for their consciousness. For their consciousness, they started for their consciousness and good wages and holidays, weekly holidays For this, they fight against the British. The establishment of International Labour Organization (ILO) in 1919. When it was, this is also an important point. ILO means International Labour Organization. This was established in 1919. This was helped the working class to send their delegation to respect their problems to this body. And why it was established in 1919? If you have any problem, if workers have any problem, they send their problems to this organization, International Labour Organization. And after that, it was played an important role among the workers. During the freedom struggle, the non-cooperation movement supported industrial workers, which was impacted on trade union movement. During the freedom struggle, the non-cooperation movement, at the time that non-cooperation movement was also going against the British. During this period freedom struggle, the non-cooperation movement supported industrial workers. These movements supported the industrial workers, which was impacted on trade union movement. And during this movement, several unions were established. These were the Indian Seamen's Union, which was in both at Calcutta and Bombay. At that time, several unions, trade unions were established. Those were the Indian Seamen's. Indian Seamen's, one of the Indian Seamen's Union, which was established in both states, Calcutta and Bombay. Punjab Press Employees, and another one is Punjab Press Employees Association, and another one is JEP Railways Workers Union, and next one is Madras Textile Labor Union, and next one is MSM Railway Men's Union in Madras, which was established in Madras, and the Indian Colliery Employees Union. On October 30, 1920, a huge gathering was organized with 64 trade union representatives at Bombay. For this, against the British suppressive policies, already you discussed about the various trade unions. On October 30, 1920, a huge gathering was organized with 64 trade union representatives at Bombay. They were conducted one meeting in 1920, where at Bombay, nearly 64 trade union representatives were participated there. This resulted the establishment of All India Trade Union Congress. After that meeting, All India Trade Union Congress was established, which was developed under the leadership of Lala Lajpat Rai, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, C.R. Das, Sardar Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, Gujralal Nanda from Indian National Congress. Already you discussed on October 30th, 1920, a huge gathering was organized with 64 trade union representatives at Bombay. This resulted the establishment of All India Trade Union Congress, which was who developed this one. So many people were developed this organization, which organized All India Trade Union Congress, especially under the leadership of Lala Lajpat Rai, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, C.R. Das, Sardar Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, Gujralal Nanda. These came from Indian National Congress. All were belonging to National Congress. These people played important role to develop the All India Trade Union Congress. This is the, and after 1919, the trade unions spread across railways, postal departments, telegram departments, shipping department, engineering department, and the communication department, but not effect on mine, jute, and textile industries. Already, and after already you said about that various trade unions. After 1919, the trade unions spread into across railways, spread across railways, railway department also established one trade union, and postal department also established one trade union, and telegram office also established one trade union, shipping also, and engineering department also, and communication also, but not effect on mine, jute, and textile industries. Many national political leaders showed interest and entered into trade union. They were Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, B.B. Giri, or Das, and Subhash Chandra Bose. Apart from these communist leaders, like Dhanderas Bengali, Sripat Amrit Dange, S.S. Mirajakar, K.N. Jakar Khan, S.V. Gate, Phillips Fart, and Sakalt War were actively involved in trade unions. These leaders were played an important role among workers in trade unions. This is the point. What's the time now, Tilottama?
12:47, sir.
1 minute. What's that? What is our time?
59 minutes 48 seconds, sir.
All the students, please open that video, please. Please on that video. Tilottama, once again, please. Alia also. Three people were participated in class today. What about remaining? Okay, thank you. Okay, we will meet tomorrow. Okay,
Yes,
in next class. Okay?
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.